Say, what's up? This your boy Humble Dad. Welcome back to another edition of Humble Dad Podcast. It's gonna be a great show. Why? Because I said so, right? And so we got people on the panel that are gonna give their perspective on a topic that I think is pretty interesting. And so, without further ado, coming to the stage, my homie, my friend, well dressed, but not tonight. Mr. Sir Hell Speaks.
Appreciate it. Salute. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Hey, first question, bro. What is the goal that you will accomplish this week?
A couple things. So, well, a goal. So let me respect it. Updating my website. This by the end of the week, my website will be completely updated and modified. So that's my goal for this week.
That's a bit. All right, thanks for sharing. Coming to the stage, Miss Shay McNuffin.
I was totally unprepared. Okay,
that's the whole point. Like nobody knows.
See me being unprepared in the background.
When you always prepared, that's what's crazy. I know you got goals. What's your goal for the week?
I do, but I'm keeping it simple. My son just came back from with his dad, so the goal is to get him back on schedule because he was gone for a week. I literally just woke him up just now, so we're gonna get back on schedule. That's the goal.
Well, welcome. Hey, let's get it. And welcome to the stage. He always has a really dope opinion about things, and he don't care what nobody say. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Hink.
What's going on, big brother? How you doing today? I'm sorry, I had my thing on mute. I totally was unprepared. But
listen, everybody in backstage, get prepared, okay? How you have two people in a row say, "I don't even know. I'm not ready."
Yeah, please learn from my mistakes.
No doubt, it's all right, man. We good. We having fun. So you got the question?
Yeah, my goal for this week, man, is putting out the date I'm gonna release my channel. So that's my goal for the week. So
that's what's up. You got a channel coming. You gonna let us know the name later? You gonna tell us now? What you got with that?
Oh, I can if you don't mind. I don't want to.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't mind.
Well, it's gonna be called The Basement.
Okay.
So be doing it on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Okay.
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's what it's gonna be. And on Mondays, we'll be doing strictly sports, pretty much like a wrap-up show from the weekend sports and all of that, and talk about the weeks to come of sports. So, pretty much all sports besides baseball. I'm not a baseball or hockey guy or horse racing, but every other sports is we can talk about it. But
have you ever heard of the word all? Do you
like, let me finish. We're going to talk about these sports.
Okay.
That I'm not too familiar or even interested in at all. So I'm gonna have somebody to cover. It's just I'm gonna be more sit back, relax, and just take notes, I guess.
That's a bit. I appreciate you being here, Hank, and everybody tune in. Get ready for The Basement. Don't forget to go over there to Seth Harris Speaks. Hey, he give good commentary. Like he be preaching over there to people, man. Like offering need to be collected. Now, welcome to the stage. She's been out for a couple weeks. She ain't been feeling well, but she said, "You know what? I'm gonna do you a favor and get better as soon as I can." Welcome to the stage, Miss Nee Lewis. How you doing?
Hey.
I'm glad you can make it. People were talking about you. Like, I really appreciate her perspective on things. That's why I reached back out to you.
I'm glad. That's awesome. That's awesome.
And if people didn't like you, I still would have reached back out to you.
Well, we want people to like us if we gonna be doing this, on a consistent basis. So we want the panel to be good.
That's a bet. So you know the question?
I do know the question.
Right. Let's get
it. My goal this week is actually to secure my next career path. So I do have an interview scheduled for Wednesday. So I'm hoping that to wrangle that one in. That was my next career hop. So very excited for the opportunity. So my goal is to get the bag this week.
to get the bag. She said
Get the
portable
bags.
bags. Absolutely. Okay.
Get the bags.
That's what's up. Appreciate you for sharing. Now, welcome to the
Absolutely.
stage. Huh? My dude, my homie. You know, he always late, but he always on time. You know what I'm saying? My dude, Mr. Dwayne Jones. What it is? What's going on? You on mute, bro? We can't hear you. Let me let.
Appreciate that. I wasn't prepared. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Hey, welcome to the club, brother.
I thought you'd like that one.
That's what's your goal for the week other than doing these 20 jokes?
Go for this week. You know, I had a new opportunity present itself today. I found out my website was hacked. So yeah. Have a new opportunity to learn how to get that back on the act right. So that's my opportunity for this week. So
what's the name of the website?
Oh, my DwayneJonesPhotography.com.
That's what's up.
Yeah, it ain't too bad, but it's bad enough to
Dwayne did my photos for my graduation. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna share those some more here shortly. And then we got the newbie. You know what I'm saying? He comes highly recommended by Mr. Sahel Speaks, none other than Mr. CJ. Welcome to the stage, Mr. CJ.
What's going on, good people?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying yes. So,
yes,
question. You got the question?
Yes, sir. So I'm getting my daughter Thursday, and we're going to finish the Wayside School is Upside Down, something like that. She got a reading list she got to finish. So we're going to finish that book this week, God willing, if she don't get on my nerves. So that's the goal for the week. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up. And my goal for the week is to kind of get acclimated to the new position that I just got. I'm working with tutors. When I told somebody that they were talking about that the people was farters. So like, you know what I'm saying? So tutors, come on, man.
Oh yeah.
So I'll be working on that position. So that's my goal for the week. And amongst many others, obviously. Right. Well, thank y'all for being here. We're gonna get started, get situated in this mug. As you can see what the title is, we're gonna build up to that as we proceed. First question. Okay. And I'll give a little order. All right, we'll see who goes first and second, but I won't tell you who's going first and second. I'm gonna just call on you. So be prepared. All right. First question is, what's the value? What's the value in creating or being a baby mama? What is the value in creating or being? Or being a baby mama? Because they talk about it all the time. You talk about baby mama drama, daddy, all of this stuff. All right. So what is the value in it? And we're gonna start with the new guy, Mr. CJ. Yeah.
I mean, the only value I can think of is if you're a good mother and you're a good co-parent. I mean, it's not. That's an interesting question, bro.
I appreciate that.
Like, I don't even know how to answer that, but I mean, you know, everybody to an extent has value. So if she's a good mother and she's good at co-parenting, or he's a good father and good at co-parenting, I mean, that could be a value, because hell, I'm in that situation. It's just my ex-wife.
Okay. I'm gonna let you choose the next person that goes. CJ, who you gonna choose?
Let me get Sir Hell in the building right quick.
Well, you know what, is a corporation that's looking to increase profits by 10 to 20% this year, who needs a new pool of customers. I think it's a fantastic thing to create baby mamas that create a new set of bills, need new living conditions, new cars, new homes, new opportunities. So as a business, I think it's a wonderful idea. Let's create more baby mamas that need more, that I can sell more to, that I can prey on the issues of the kids. I can marketize things to and say your kids need this to be successful. And then I can pull, on the emotional vulnerability and the feelings of failure and increase my profits. So for big business, this is fantastic. For the family, however, there is no value in creating baby mamas. It's terrible for the community. And so that's how I'll address that question.
Thank you for answering. Hey, you get to choose the next person.
Let's go with Annie Lewis.
You would pick me. I just think that's such an interesting perspective that you just gave. And it's funny because I was thinking about this the other day, how much is marketed to single mothers, like how that is now. I remember when that was kind of a thing that was more shameful. It was not anything to aspire to. And I love how you brought that perspective out, because I literally was pondering over this the other day, that is now a market, single mothers specifically. Like there's songs about it, and like it has become its own business. So I'm kind of gonna piggyback off what you said. I don't think it adds any value to the family dynamic, to the culture. I think it is the starting point of the breakdown of the familial structure and dynamic, and especially within the African American community.
Who you picking on? Who you gonna pick?
I'm gonna
next?
go with the basement, Mr. Hank.
It's Hank, but that's all right.
Okay.
Value. I'm on the same line as her. Hell, I mean, I'm sure the dairy farmers are appreciating to see the baby mamas, because they know they're gonna be out there getting that good milk for the babies, the formula, But as far as value, no, not really. There's no value in a baby mama. And CJ, I wouldn't call your ex-wife a baby mama. She's the mother of your child. Don't call her that. She's not your baby mama. She's, if anything, she's your ex-wife. But don't. She been married. She's not a baby mama.
I would push back on that though. But go ahead.
Well, you know it better than me. I'm gonna stand down.
If you want to respond, you can. You want to push back, or you?
No, I mean, what he said is true, but I'm just saying, like, what's the difference if we're not together?
Well, she's like I said, she has a title. She was your wife at one time. Now she's just your ex-wife. She's your mother of your child. Now, somebody who I just had a child by, and I never had a marriage with her. Yes, she was a baby. Now, do I have a baby mama? Yes, my daughter and her mother. That's my baby mama. So, but my ex-wife is the mother of my son, so I wouldn't call her my baby mother. And I had to encourage her a couple times. Don't call me your baby daddy, because it's not what I am. I'm your ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that, because I don't really refer to her as my baby mama. But I was just saying, like, when he was like, what's the value? I was looking at it like, well, like they both have the same value as far as an ex-wife and a baby mama if they're good parents. That's just how I looked at it. Like, it's really no difference because you're not together, so the family's still broken. That's how I was looking at it.
But certain individuals hold an ex-wife more respectable than a baby's mother. So that's why I think there is a difference.
All right, cool. Hank, you gotta choose the next person.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Last two is Dwayne and Shay.
Okay, well let's go with Dwayne. He looked like he's ready for that question.
Yeah, no, that's a tough question. Once you sprinkle values on there, it's like my question is value to who and value to what. And Mr. Sir Hale was able to help qualify that quite a bit, because as for a value to a vested interest, I say the government would be a vested interest, because they step in and they become the baby daddy in that situation, where they're the ones who are now providing for the child and gets to have a major influence in the child's life in that regard. As a society, they get to they don't see too much of the value of the residual income, because what they're going to get back is, if there's not something that is I guess, like, well, how can I put that? If there's not a drastic change in that child's life, that child is doomed to their circumstances. And in a fatherless homes, we know those situations, unless there's like a positive role model that comes in and changes that trajectory, they're doomed to be a product of their situation, circumstances, and environment in most scenarios. So Value to who? Not to society, but to I'll say main party would be government.
All right. Last but not least, Miss Shay.
All right. Well, they say the best for last. Even though I just told my son he can't be in here blowing his nose while I'm about to speak, but
That's
what do
crazy.
you do? Okay.
Right.
It's just that kind of day. But so when I think I'm gonna take a different spin on it, I heard what everyone has to say. Yes, I agree. However, when you think about value, it's something that you deem as being important, worth, or useful. So a baby mama is essentially a mother of a child. I'm an ex-wife as well, but I agree with CJ when he said, what's the difference? I mean, you still carry the same thing. Like, you still have a child, y'all still not together. So if I think about just a baby mama, I think the term has been coined so negatively that some people think it's disrespectful, like he stated, in being a baby mama or whatever, and think that a baby mama has no worth or isn't useful. However, we're talking about creation. So there's a baby mama and there's a baby daddy. So you can't have a child without a baby mama or a baby daddy. So there is some value to a baby mama. She created your child, which everyone who is a parent should value that, or the product of what was created. And so hopefully she has additional qualities that would be beneficial in a co-parenting relationship in regards to the children or the child that you're raising. So that's the spin I'm taking on it.
Can I respond to this? So it's the connotation.
Podcast.
Yes. So it's the connotation with this. When we say baby mama, we're not espousing responsibility. We're not espousing maturity. That's not attached to that. When you think about baby mama, and I think rightfully so, you think about somebody who had a baby. That's very different from a mother with a child. A father is much different than a baby daddy. When you think about a father, this is a man that's intentionally taking responsibility for his kids. He's providing in all the best ways that he can. He's constantly developing his kids, developing a foundation, so on and so forth. So the connotation does create a distinction with the difference between people who are managing kids, baby mamas, kids on iPads, on iPhones, on the computer, in front of the television, eating Takis, chicken McNuggets. A mother is somebody who reads with the child, somebody who goes over their emotional concerns, who makes sure they eat their vegetables and waters, make sure that they're not sick. So the connotation is it's not about value, it's about the responsibility. And there is a clear difference between a mama, a mother, and a baby mama.
Well, he said value. So he didn't ask about the connotation, he asked about value, right? So I think as a society, we've coined the baby mama phrase so negatively that, like you said, chicken nuggets and whatever, my child don't even eat chicken nuggets, but somebody may call me a baby mama. He just ate some salmon. So I think because of the stereotypes that are associated with the term is why we're trying to deem one more worthy than the other. And either way go, if you're an ex-wife, you're a baby mama.
Yeah, but I say
and some people still say they baby mamas and husband and wife situations. I hear wives say that too. Like, that's my baby daddy, that's my baby mama. So I think it's all relative.
Ex-wife would be a single mother. Just want to make that distinction.
Yeah. You can make that distinction, but that doesn't mean it's correct. It's just an opinion.
Yeah, but but we all look. A one night stand could be a baby mama. I'm not going to hold her in a high respectable regard. There's no way I would do that. And to call your husband your baby daddy, that's totally disrespectful. Because we all know baby dad. When we think of baby daddies, we think of some deadbeat who doesn't even come around. As some of y'all ladies will refer to him as a sperm donor.
I don't even use those terms, but I wouldn't think of my baby daddy in that term. I just beg to differ.
A lot of ladies do. A lot of ladies do that. And like you said, for a wife to call her husband That's totally disrespectful.
But that's your opinion, and you're entitled to your
You're
opinion,
right.
and you're entitled to find a woman who doesn't call you her baby daddy,
Oh,
right?
yeah, I'm about respect. So yeah, you're right.
So if you figure that's disrespectful, then you wouldn't be with a woman who would disrespect you and call you her baby daddy.
I
So
figure
you
that's
wouldn't have that issue. But there are
that right.
guys who are totally okay with that, and they'll say the same thing for their wife. I've heard it. I see it. I mean, I've been a wife and now I'm an ex-wife. So I think we just coined the term so negatively that when you hear it, it's like, ew, baby mama,
Man, because
baby daddy.
let's keep it real. It is. Because why are you out there having kids without your husband?
Yeah.
Let's keep it 100. Why are you out there having kids without your husband?
Yeah.
Why?
So I'd say what's the value of a side piece, right? Like the value, like a penny is a value, but then you have the whole dollar. So 50 cents has a value, but in it, I just think these things are, yeah, you're right, Shay. It is an opinion. It is an opinion, but at the end of the day, like I don't, as a man, I don't want to be referred to as a baby daddy. Like that to me is less than 50 cents. That's 10 cents or less for me as a value, if to put it in monetary terms. So as for a side piece, like I don't know what woman would find value in being called a side chick or a side piece. And I think
But we're not
that's wrong.
talking about a side piece. We're talking about a baby mama, right?
Yeah,
So,
but I think it to me it's in the same token. Like the relationship is not strong, and from a man, like commitment is very important. Commitment is very important, and if you're not willing to commit to a woman as a girlfriend, as you're making those gradual steps in the trajectory of a relationship between a man and a woman, it's for marriage. So in that trajectory, like if you're not willing to commit, like if you mess around and sleep around and the woman gets pregnant, that's how you and y'all don't stay together. That's how you have baby daddies and baby mamas, because that commitment is not there. So if you're not willing to commit and say this is the person I'm going to be committed to, then like Beyonce says, if you like it, you put a ring on it. You put a ring on it, then you go through those steps. And I think there is a difference between, let's say, an ex-wife than a baby's mother. I think there's a title. That title has been earned, and a baby mama is to me, as from my opinion, is a degraded title from being ex-wife to baby mama or baby daddy. Like straight up for me.
I just want to jump in here real quick on that because I am both a wife and I am also a baby mother. And just to kind of piggyback on the distinction that I do feel like is made between that, my baby daddy will not refer to me as his baby mama. He thinks that we've never been married. We have 2 children. We're never married. But he does not refer to me as his baby mama because he said it's a different level of respect. He refers to me as the mother of his children. We were not married. We were never on that level. But he said there's just a different connotation to it,
So
whether
that's what
you agree with it or not. So he will not refer to me as his baby mother. He says I'm the mother of his children.
So humble
And
dad, when you made this question, were you considering that connotation?
No, I was not considering the connotation. What I wanted to do was provide a conversation centered around this notion of baby mama, and whether it's positive or negative, right? I wanted to have the dialogue and find out, since it's so many of them, then why is it? How did we get to the point of now is valued?
Can I ask a question to New Lewis? So you said your the person you have children with, he said he wouldn't refer to you as a baby mama. Just a couple questions for you. Are you a responsible mother?
I am.
Make sure your kids are healthy,
Yes.
honorable.
Yes.
That makes all the difference, right? So typically we associate And I think it's kind of equivalent to what people have done with the B word. You know what I mean? It used to be something. You don't disrespect me with this. That's particularly for a woman. You don't call her that today. It's like it's tried to be reversed to make it positive. And I personally believe that we should let certain things that are negative remain negative, because if we're too accepting of stuff, it messes things up because there's no shame. We celebrate stuff that's not good for our community. So I think the term baby mama, baby daddy, it is negative, and I think it should remain that way.
So are we talking about the term, or are we talking about what value? Because I think we keep getting away from what
The value.
Yes, we're having a totally different conversation than what's being asked. And the question is, what's the value in creating or being a baby mama?
I disagree. I think what I'm hearing, it's hard to detach the value from the term, right? So when I think about you're an educated person, it's hard to detach, right? Like it's a reason why you say you're an educated this or you're a professional that, and there's no way to detach this from this.
Would you have felt different if he said, "What's the value in being a single mother?"
That's a different question.
Is
It's
that
a
for me?
different connotation.
Mhm.
Okay, I get
And
it.
I do agree. It is hard to detach that. You have to think on a certain level, right? To want to go beneath the surface layer of what the connotation of it is. The connotation is derogatory. I don't think anyone, regardless of how you acquired your children or the circumstances you had with the person you procreated with, I don't think anyone aspires like, oh yeah, I can't wait to be a baby mama, baby daddy. Like it almost never happens like that. Now, this new generation, they be a little different, but for most of us, that's not anything to aspire to. Most people want to have their children within the confines of a committed monogamous relationship, whether you actually believe in the institution of marriage or whatever. Most people want that day in, day out mother father dynamic for their children. So the connotation, it's hard to bypass the connotation of the phrase and then attach something like value to something that is inherently perceived as negative.
Yeah.
They don't really align. But again, if you're going to go that next layer down and take the connotation off the word and just look at a mother or a woman who is a mother or a single mother, then yeah, that's kind of where Shay's coming from with her viewpoint. But I think it is challenging to remove the negative connotation while also speaking to if there's positivity or a value around something that has that type of the negative connotation.
It's cultural too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like where
Absolutely.
I'm from Memphis. You know, he slid in a little joke. I'm gonna get his ad later. But we in my city, like baby mama is like that's just a word for mama. You know, baby daddy is just a word for daddy. I don't agree with it, but I think the distinction is made between, if you look at the people on the panel and kind of what we do, you know, we make that distinction because we have a higher standard for ourselves. But culturally, that's acceptable. That's the thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I'll go with what Sir Hill was saying. It's we don't want to promote that as being okay. I wouldn't desire my daughter to be referred to as a baby mama, like for real. Like, and even like what you say as for cultural, right? Like I don't know of any mainstream rap songs, or even as whenever I was growing up, mainstream rap songs that are talking about wives, right? I hear baby mamas all the time. They don't promote marriage. They don't promote those healthy relationships. It's about running through this next. So it's like that's what creates baby mamas. And that as for society, that's not good for society. Now, Shay, like what you there are values in good mothers, but as for the way that question is set up as values and baby mamas, that negative connotation is attached to it, and in it, me personally, I can't promote and get behind the word baby mama. It's just like what y'all were saying as for using the B word. I will never want to refer to my wife or have my daughters be referred to in the B word. That will never be positive for me.
Yeah.
Never be positive for me. No, even if you put, oh, she's a bad B. No, that I could care less. Don't. There's other words and vocabulary that can be used to promote what your idea may be. But yeah, that's where I was
I
saying.
see what you did there, humble dad. I see what you did.
What did I do?
You just smooth. I got you. I got
You
you.
know what
I
he
ain't
was
gonna
going
say
to.
it.
What did I do? Like, please explain what I
Nope,
did.
nope. You know what you did.
I do want to add
Humble
one
Dad.
other thing to Shay's point. It is important for us to be responsible in who we label baby mamas and baby daddies as well. So I don't agree with the term, but I do know that there are some people who are just, if you see, the question is asked, are you married and you got a kid, your baby mama. And I think that we got to be a little bit slower with attaching that to people, because we don't know circumstances. And until we know, I do think that we got to stop making people baby mamas and making people baby daddies if we don't know the situation.
And in addition to that, stop judging them based upon it, because you don't know the situation, right? Like, I consider myself highly educated, CPA, got my own firm. I consider myself very successful. I don't see anything negatively wrong. Like CJ was saying, some people just coin it as like baby mama, baby daddy. Do I refer to my son's father as that? No, I don't. Does he refer to me as that? No, I don't. But I think culturally, especially in the Black community, we have a way of trying to degrade, downplay women and not even knowing the backstory on what happened. So I think if we're going to change that, if you don't want your kids or whomever being associated with it, then talk about it differently. We're really getting caught up on the word baby mama.
The
We
reason
can
why,
change
let me
that.
interject. The reason why there is a
Humble Dad, can I say something real fast? I'm sorry.
sure.
I just want to first apologize because it's my fault. I the one got this bullshit started, and I want to apologize to you for that. But this is part of our Black culture and why it's trash now, because we will continue to promote this bullcrap.
Agreed.
Why our white counterparts are Asian, are Latin, are Indian. So they're not embracing this baby mama title or baby dad. Nobody, only us Black folks. And like Miss Knuckles said, our community, as Black folks, will engage and promote this like it's a pride thing. Hell no, it's not. I don't. How disrespectful for you to say I'm your baby daddy, and we all know the stereotype that we see when we think about a baby daddy. It's that deadbeat. You have to go down to the child support office, put some papers out on him because you can't find him because you have no idea if he's got a job or he's job hopping because he don't want to pay support. We got to go to the courthouse every other week, try to get some papers on him. That's what we think about when we think of a baby daddy. We don't think that guy out there taking his son to the football games, taking his son to the park, going to get ice cream, spending time, and make sure every kid that he may have is always getting that quality time. We're not thinking about that dude. We're thinking about the dude I just described at first. And the baby mamas we talking about, same thing. That nagging ass baby mama always talking about, I'm paying you support, but now I need more money. Little Johnny needs this and this. Why little Johnny need to have the highest price shoes? Why can't he get the lower level Jordans or the lower level Nikes or the lower level Adidas sweatsuit? Why's he got to get the Yeezys? Shout out to Kanye West. Why he got to
Shout
get
out to
that?
Ye.
Yup.
So
Adidas.
I don't understand this. Why are we embracing this baby mama, baby daddy bull crap? Only the Black community. And that's one thing we need to change. I don't give a damn if it's part of our culture. There's a lot of things in our culture we need to change.
Agreed.
I
Yeah,
agree.
the reason why this is such a big deal is because our Black women have a profound impact on shaping how kids see the world. And if our women are promoting this, men, we're going to stand for what we stand for, but women are the communicators to families. And if our women think it's okay, then our kids are going to think it's okay. And then we're going to perpetuate these things. So that's why this is important.
I mean, if you're having, and we're talking about women here, right? And I don't know about you all, but I know
Not
some.
necessarily. Not necessarily, because the question which y'all all missed was, what's the value in creating a baby mama or being a baby mama? So it wasn't a
I
topic.
took a stance on creating because I said in creation, right?
Right. So I'm just saying that it's not about just women, right? That's an inclusive question.
I do think we're hyper focused on what it means in the feminine context, although
That shows
although
you how
the
important it is.
although the gentleman prior, addressed the baby daddy dynamic and the connotation associated with it. But mothers are pivotal to the family dynamic. I mean, you plant the seed, but it's the woman who's going to form that life. And I think, Sir Hale, that is a very important point, and it's something that I've talked to my daughters about. Like, just because you see me striving and making strides, this is not the dynamic in which this should thrive. There are things that you are going without that you may not even be aware of because you see me hyper performing, wearing both feminine and masculine energy to achieve the best I can to create harmony. This was prior to me being married. I said, but this is not the way this goes. And I don't want you to ever think because you see me persevere and achieve that, oh, I don't need a man, or I can take care of a child on my own. Absolutely 100% not. A man has value. A man has a place in the home. He has value to add to you, and he certainly has value to add to your seed. So you need to not follow my path. You need to follow the proper path, which is to have children within the bounds of a healthy marriage dynamic. So I do think it's the onus is very much on women to make sure, especially women who, are not acquiescing to the baby mama aesthetic, who do know that this is not a good thing. I'm going to champion, I'm going to persevere anyway. But if I could do this the right way, I would have done it the right way, or I would have, picked better in my marriage or whatever have you. I just wouldn't be in this circumstance. And it is important for us to champion that, because I don't always hear that message being passed down to young women. I hear a lot going towards young women that you don't need these men. They're only good for XYZ, and you don't need no man to raise no child. And there's a group of women, not just Black women, that are opting to intentionally create life.
Choice moms.
Yeah, choice mom, to on their own. They don't want, like, that is disadvantage. That's not even the word, but it's not advantageous to the child for there to only be one, because that job is not designed for one person. So
it's good. Does somebody want to add? Because that transition to my next question.
Yeah. I agree with that 100% in terms of you have to have those conversations, but I think even as a single mother, baby mother, whatever, that conversation was had. And I don't know what circles some of you are in, but I see some great mothers and I see some great fathers and some great co-parents. So I think I have a much different perspective, because what we have described on the podcast as a typical baby mama, that's not what I see. And of course, that child's mother or whatever, she didn't want to be in there. She didn't aspire, as you stated, to be a baby mama, quote unquote, but it happened, and they're doing the best that they can with what they've been dealt, which I would say is a good job, especially if they have a great co-parenting relationship with the father. I mean, it's equal.
Can I ask a question then? If that's the case, Shay, right? We operating in a personal situation, maybe anecdotal. Is that what you're going with?
Yes, that is.
Right.
I think so.
And that's fair, right? But anecdotal does not provide us the context of reality, right? Right. So I'm not going against what you're saying as it relates to your anecdotal, but I am going to provide context as it relates to stats that show it is very. I mean, even as an educator, I saw with my own eyes. I mean, I probably taught at least 1,000 kids. Okay, the kids that did not have both their parents, I'll spin it the other way. The kids that had both their parents acted totally different in school. Now, I'm not saying that that like a single parent kid did not do well as it relates to behavior, but I'm gonna tell you like this: as soon as the kid is recorded into the school system and it says single parent, they're automatically put as an at-risk student. saying that they will be on the trajectory to prison.
No,
Right?
I agree
So
with that, HG. I don't want to make it seem like I'm saying that the fathers don't add value, because you know my opinion on that. I
Yeah.
respect
we know
my
that.
child's father
Yeah.
and know that.
Yeah,
So
for
I was
sure.
just stating the value in itself of creating a child.
Oh, see, that's where you should have stayed, because that part right there makes sense. Like the creation of life is of value. Now, how it is created, that's a different topic, right?
Mm.
That's a totally different topic. That's the reason why I'm asked the question, because there was a song, as y'all know, you ain't nothing but a baby mama, hood rat, baby mama. Like, there's no positive connotation in that, right? And that is where it's spent off from being a part of our culture, right? So as we transition, Sir Hell, you about to say something? Okay, so as we transition, this goes to what Ms. Nee Lewis was talking about. I want to pose the question of, how would you teach your daughter not to become a baby mama, but a wife? Right? How would you teach? Let me see. Let me find it. How would you teach your daughter not to become a baby mama, but a wife? All right. Who went last? Shay went last. Shay, you get to choose who goes first.
Let's go, Nee.
Okay. Um, so the first thing I did personally was start talking to my daughter at an age where she was able to comprehend kind of male and female dynamics, even it's in her youth. Asking her opinion about men. I wanted to know how she viewed men because her father was absent. And so after I understood how she viewed men, then from there it was reinforcing and kind of putting positive role models around her to kind of stand in the gap for the negative experience and kind of negative opinion she was developing about men based on the lack of her father's presence. So then once I got her surrounded around good men, then I started to highlight the values that those men brought to her life. Until this day, those men that I put her around, which were friends of mine, are uncles to her, and they still do for her, and they still check in with her. Back then she was around 6'7", now she's 16. So it has helped her in picking, and now she's at the age where she's dating. The young men that she brings to us are exceptional young men. She's never bought a clown to my house. She hasn't been dating a whole bunch because she's just 16, but she's trying to learn the relationship dynamic, and I allow her to foster that with rules and boundaries in place that my husband and I set. But she picks young men that mirror her stepfather now, and the men that I put in her life to show and combat the example that unfortunately her biological father didn't set. And I always reinforce that men have value. And regardless of what you hear, what the media shows you, what your friends may experience, there are good men and they have value. And if you want to be a woman and have if you want to be a mother, then it is important that your ability to pick and discern the appropriate mate be as high as it can possibly be. And then within that, picking well will lead you to building the proper relationship, the appropriate healthy dynamics within that relationship. And then that man will honor you by making you a wife. And then once you're a wife, then if it's your desire to start a family, then you do that. But it starts with understanding how children, especially young girls, are seeing men, seeing relationships, because you are combating what's going on in their social circle, especially for my daughter. She's 16. So, it's hot girl everything, sexual freedom, more explicit expression of sexuality. It's women wanting to do what they think is empowers them as women by acting as if they're masculine and acting in masculine energy, and being kind of free with their bodies and sex. And I'm combating all these things that the culture tells her are normal. It is in my mind creating the baby mama culture. So having those conversations with her and telling her, no, sis, not like whatever you see, this, I have a counter for that. And I'm constantly checking in and making sure that her development, her understanding of relationships, dynamic, and the order in which things should be done before she becomes a mother, stays grounded.
That's what's up.
Sorry, I said a lot.
It's okay. It's okay. That's why you're here. Who you picking next?
I'm gonna go with CJ.
All right, CJ, it's on you.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
For me, I got a little girl, so I'm already, she's 7 now. We ain't talking about nothing too serious, but I've already sat down and talked to her because she got little boys that like her little nappy head boys that like her at school now, right? So me and her had a conversation. I asked her, do she know who the boy's name? She told me the boy's name. I said, look, it's natural that boys like you, but let me tell you something. As your daddy, I used to be a boy. I'm a man now, but I used to be a boy. I know how they think. I know what they want. And if you got any kind of curiosity in what he wants, come talk to me. You can talk to your mama too, but your mama don't know better than I know when it come to this. So talk to your daddy. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to establish a relationship where I'm not trying to be a helicopter dad. I'm trying to be a person that she can talk to, because I know from me being a young for me being that young man that was doing my thing, I could tell who didn't have their dad in their life. I could tell, it was easier for me to deal with girls that didn't have a father in their life. So I try to be that constant image as well as a good father, a man. And that's what I try to do, being an example and also being somebody she can actually talk to versus somebody she's scared to tell something to.
That was a nugget you just dropped.
So important
for ladies to acquiesce to or to acknowledge that a guy knows when you're vulnerable as it relates to not having a father figure in your life. So I don't know what you'll do with that information, but just think about that and ponder on that if you don't have a father figure in your life, that lets you know that you need to go find one, right? To some degree, whatever age you are, if your parents didn't do it, then you got to be responsible enough to say, I need to put a guy in my life that I'm not attracted to that way. I need to give me a mentor or something that can help me figure out like what these dudes are about. It's on you, CJ. Who you picking?
Oh, I'm tripping over here. Let me go with Hank this time, man.
That's a bet. It's on you, Hank.
How would I teach your daughter not to become a baby mama?
But a wife.
Yes. Well, what I did was, it was crazy. But I just talked about the financial part of it, how much it would cost to be a single parent. And that's pretty much what I did. So regardless of what age, this is still going to be a burden, whether you a 16-year-old mother or you a 26-year-old mother, it's still going to be a burden. So that's how I taught my daughter the financial, and I broke it down, how much it would cost to get Pampers every week, how much it would cost you to do formula every week. So those are the things that I told her, how not to be a baby mama, but to be a wife. I said, when you find that right person in your life, what I'm saying, that one that you truly could really get along with, be agreeable with, relate to, it doesn't always have to be everything, but for the most part, if y'all get along on a lot of things, then you got a chance. So that's my answer.
That's what's up. You picking next person?
Let's go with Sir
I think those are awesome stuff. Nee Lewis, I really like what you said. Hink, I like what you said as well. And so I'll just add to that. The first thing is you got to know
like
your
what I
daughter's
said?
personality. I
Oh
see
no,
that.
he excluded you on purpose.
I was about to say I
Oh.
love what he said. I just
Oh,
liked
okay.
everybody else's, but I loved what he said.
Okay, I was just
Yeah,
checking.
just clarify. Just wanted to clarify, bro. So, in addition to that, you got to know the personalities of your girls. You start to realize if you don't know their personalities, you don't know how to tailor what you do for them. So, know the personalities. Protect their sexuality. In this day and age, there is so much coming after that, and a lot of these young girls, their sexual, interest and hormones are awakened so early, and they're getting so much attention so fast that they don't know what to do with that. And so we got to protect the sexuality. But here's a couple of other things though. It's teaching young girls how to care for somebody. One of the things when I'm giving advice to people is we have to teach our girls how to care for someone. So 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, when we had grandma and aunties who were in their 60s and 70s, we were taught how to take care of them. So we'd have to go bring chicken or take out the trash or cook or go check the mail and do things. And so seeing that phase of life taught us how to care for somebody else. In today's world, our girls can't take care of a plant, right? This is gone. So let's teach our girls how to care for something, care about people, and nurture that feminine quality of nurturing. The other thing is being disciplined at stuff. A lot of our young girls are chaotic. They have no sense of direction. They have no sense of knowing what they want. They know what they like. You know what I mean? They know what they're interested in, but having a clear direction that, hey, this is what I want to be in life. And this is what I'll do. So when it comes to fitness and eating and reading and things like that, cultivate that level of discipline, because being a wife ain't for the weak. You have to have some discipline there. And then the last thing that I'll say is you have to understand what it means to work with somebody. In this generation, everybody is independent, everybody's solo, everybody's a superstar, and people don't know how to work with each other and how to complement someone else. So teach our girls that what you have, your beauty, your the degree you get, all the things that you are working to become should be a compliment to the person that you're with. And the man that you get should be able to respect and appreciate and to embellish all the things that you have, and you guys are able to work together. So cultivate the ability to nurture and to work with somebody, to be disciplined and to know how to care for others. That's what I would say.
That's really good. Who you got on it? Who you got next?
Let's get Dwayne.
Oh man, I say first and foremost, it definitely starts at home. Our children are going to basically imitate what they see, and one of the places that they spend a good part of the time is at home. So I am thankful for my wife, because she's already made it to that status, right? So she's already at wife status. My oldest daughter, she's 17. My wife had her in high school, so that's my stepdaughter. But that's my daughter. CJ made mention earlier, like he's not a helicopter. Oh, I'm the helicopter with the zip line coming down, ready to go. Okay, ready for combat. All right. So it's one of those situations. Now I'll give a big up to this podcast because within this last couple of months, I've learned quite a bit. I've learned quite a bit, and things have progressed in my life quite a bit because my daughter now, she's starting to date, and we allowing that. And I think me personally, I'm operating out of an area of fear because, like CJ was saying, like we know men because we were once boys, and then we grew up to where we are now. But in that, we went through some stuff, right? And we knew where our mind was at. And the thing about it is, like, I wasn't looking for value. I wasn't looking for quality. I was looking for quantity, right? So from that standpoint, it's like I was just trying to swing at anything, like I may mention before, right? So it's one of those things. And you're looking for people who are vulnerable. And vulnerability leads to, as for a weak mind, a father is one who builds up their children emotionally, from the standpoint of being strong, being situationally aware. And I'll say, we knew, like CJ was saying, we know whenever a father's not present. So with that, I don't desire that. I don't desire that one bit. And I desire to be present. And I desire to be present in so much that whoever my daughter decides to date, I want them to know that I will be present. So my daughter presented to me just last night that this young man she's talking to desires to call her his girlfriend. I said, well, he's gonna be my boyfriend. Let him know we too are in a relationship. Okay. Let him know we too are in a relationship, because it's like that. Now I'm going to have to get to know
Yes,
you.
sir.
That is awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
love it.
But then also I had to ask her, I said, hey, you know what does this mean for you? What does this mean for him? What does it mean for y'all? So it's like that Venn diagram where it's on one side, what does being a girlfriend mean to you? What does it mean to him? What does it mean to both of y'all? What is the expectation that y'all are setting up for yourselves in this? What are y'all building towards? Right. So your end goal is not baby mama. Your end goal is wife. I desire to push you out of this nest where you are not going to be a baby mama, but a wife. And in that, it's in our culture, we see a lot of this, independent that. The Bible says for a wife to submit, but it ain't submit to anything. And I think it's a strong minded. So God is the covering of a man, the man is the covering of his wife. So following that hierarchy, like I desire to be that covering now, so that as she departs my household, she will have a strong covering. And I have to also then make sure that that man has a strong covering as well, because if she is to be submissive to someone, what is that rule looking like? And I predominantly believe that it starts at home. So, like I may mention earlier, that's my stepdaughter. It's my daughter, but she has a biological father. Her biological father was not really present in her life. So mentally, I had to overcome certain things myself, because yes, I'm present, but there's a double-mindedness compared to some people who have just a biological children. So with that, I had to work on fostering that trust, that relationship, and also then foster that view of a man who is present, and then also then allowing her to see as for a man who then calls her mother his wife. That's what I believe that will allow these women or these girls, in order to go forward, is by example, and it comes from the mother and the father.
That's what's up. It's on you, Shay.
Okay, I've enjoyed what everyone else has said. I would just add, nurturing those qualities and characteristics so she understands who she is and the jewels that she possesses as a woman, the value that she provides and gives to a man, in addition to creating that community. So, date in community in terms of having those people or those men around specifically, because the only way you will know is to have great men who are husbands, who are great husbands and great fathers, right? To be able to show her what that looks like. And then I will also teach her about boundaries and creating them, what those look like, what it looks like to establish boundaries, and when someone crosses your boundaries. And then I would just add, you know, what was my last? Oh, how to deal with the attention that she will receive, because you're going to get attention, right? Men will be attracted to you, so how to deal with that so you don't get sucked into, oh, I'm receiving all of this attention, so that in those situations you'll know what to do. So I think those are some of the things that I would do, um, if I had a daughter.
That is phenomenal. Was there somebody that didn't get to answer that or wanted to respond to somebody?
I did.
All right, go ahead.
I wanted to respond to. But I'll let
We go CJ, then Miss Nee.
I just want to be clear. I said I'm not a helicopter dad, but I'm not playing no games. It ain't going to be nothing sweet going on up under my nose. I just mean I don't want to be so much of a domineering force that she's scared to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what I was getting at. And also, I'm kind of going through a transition, right, as a father, because I'm about to move out of the city that my daughter lives in. And when I hear brothers talk about a father not being there, I often wonder, what do they actually mean? Do they mean that he's not doing anything at all, or is he doing the best he can? Because that's something I'm terrified of. Because I can't be there as much as the guy that my ex-wife is with. You know what I'm saying? So that's just I ain't trying to take us off course, but just something to think about.
To your point, that's what we mean. So if you're there and present and you are doing all that you can as a father, that's what we mean by being a father. Sometimes things happen. Kids and their father are in two different states. It doesn't mean that one person doesn't love the other person. It means that there's some circumstances in between. So grateful for things like FaceTime and Google, where we can connect and talk and we can be present. And then when we can make trips, get a plane ticket or drive. So it's about being active, being present, and doing all that you can.
Yeah, I'll chime in real quick on that one. It is that being present, but as for being intentional, I believe the child will notice whenever you're actually making the effort versus if you're not making an effort. And whenever you do make an effort, they'll see that, because at the end of the day, did he do the best he can? That question will be in the back of the mind. Just knowing that you are doing the best that you can and being intentional, I think that goes the extra mile.
Say, Nee, was you about to respond?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to kind of just piggyback off of the topic that CJ and both Dwayne brought up, which was the men knowing when women don't have a male figure is super important. And I was very concerned about that with my daughter, because she ended up being diagnosed because of a very terrible situation that happened with her biological father, with severe separation anxiety. And what that caused her to do was build an unhealthy attachment to anybody who she cared for. Okay. So I had to get her therapy and work on that, because what that would have done if we didn't get that kind of under control. And then it's something I still hold her accountable. I will point out, hey, you cannot project your issues onto someone you're dating, but more importantly, being able to prevent from being preyed on by men who can see she's suffering from not having a daddy, or there's, she's easily, kind of to Shay's point, she's easily wowed when someone compliments her or gives her that attention, because it's become some type of deficiency or lack in her life. And that was the point of bringing in positive role models and reinforcing positive male interaction and getting those issues addressed with therapy and et cetera, so that she wasn't going out as a moving target that a man could just, oh, look at that one, she ripe for the picking. I'm gonna just tell her this, and now she all in love and rebelling because this is the first thing she's had from a man that made her feel accepted, or whatever have you. So that is super important. And if we have young girls, unfortunately we find ourselves in situations where we're single parenting, it's super important for us as women to know that, it's two men on this panel telling you, hey, these men can see when young women have those deficiencies in their life when it comes to a male role model, male presence. Men reinforce women in a way that I think mothers can't. I think fathers reinforce their little girls in a way they can't. I am a daddy's girl. Our relationship is completely different than my mother's. Love my mother to death, but that's my daddy, and it's different. And so I knew that was going to be a lack. And even though I wasn't able to provide that for her until later in life, I'm grateful that I had it, because I knew just because I had a father, I knew that that was something that I was going to need to actively work on to build that gap for her until I married, and now she has a stepfather that's able to fill that role.
That's what's
So
up. That's
super
dope.
important point.
That's what's up. Hey, y'all doing well. I just want to communicate that y'all using your words well. You're communicating, elaborating. I really, really like that. You're like, y'all are so serious. You know,
You're welcome, brother.
for sure. All right.
It's
We're going-
fantastic topics.
I appreciate that.
Facts,
I'm gonna
facts.
say praise God for that one, man, because I don't be knowing sometimes what I want to go with. So the next question is for our sons. All right. How would you teach your son not to become a baby daddy, but a husband? Nee, we're gonna go with you first, and then after you speak, it's a free
Yeah.
for all. Whoever wants to go can go.
It's gonna
We're
be
gonna start
Um,
with you, Nee.
with my son, this is a really interesting spot for me. When I met my husband, my son was he had just turned 2. So for my son, this is a little different than my daughter. My husband is the only frame of reference he has as a father. So they are thick as thieves, right? That's his son. You can't tell him it's not his son. He already told me if anything happened and we're divorced, I'm keeping the kids. You can go about your business. But with him, while I have a perspective, my my husband is way more integral in kind of building him as a man, and that has been challenging for me to kind of step back and allow him as a father to guide him and teach him and start building that foundational structure of what a man is and how important it is as a man to also pick well, to also not be for everyone and for every woman. And I think that that's something that's super important for the men in our culture. I'm just going to segue slightly, but I think that it's super important that you presented this question, because I feel like Black men specifically, I was talking with another group of Black men, and I said, at what age do Black men teach Black boys to be serious and intentional about women's selection, and dating? and I like, when, because we teach young boys, don't get caught up, especially heaven forbid if they play sports. We start building this dynamic that women are looking to get pregnant, looking to trap them. And I don't think we realize that we're actually setting the tone that women inherently are not to be trusted. They have ulterior motives and they will get you caught up. Where then do we come in and say, oh, but wait, this is the type of woman that is good. This is the type of woman that you do want. This is the type, like, I don't know when that conversation is happening. And this is going all through high school, all the way into college. And then at 30, boom, boy, you ain't married. You ain't got no woman. You ain't got no family. What you doing out here? Like, when was he instructed to start taking women seriously, to lead a family, to lead a woman, how to select a woman? I don't hear that conversation up. I think Dwayne brought up earlier, the rap music is teaching money, cars, clothes, hoes. You know, nobody's rapping about finding an ideal woman.
That's why we're having the conversation.
And so we're having this conversation, which is super important. And my husband is kind of taking that lead. I think as a woman, I'm just going to reinforce, you know, she should be able to do this. This is how her demeanor should be. I'm going to express, like, kind of like CJ and Dwayne said, you know, my husband can tell you from a man perspective, but I'm going to tell you from a woman's perspective what type of things to look for as far as the qualities of a woman.
That doesn't happen often. It's from that woman's perspective, because you know, even me being single mother raised, right, and even guys that were raised in 2-parent homes, the idea is that no woman is bad. when we were brought up. Like that's how we raised. To be honest, it's never say this about a woman. Respect women. It's like the conversation. I've never had a woman tell me about a bad woman until I've had a child and was married to one. Like it wasn't a real conversation. Now I can't say that for everybody, but for most of the guys I know, and me and most of the guys I know, that conversation they had with mama, pops, or uncle tell you. But mama, she gonna tell you to be the best man and treat women like gods. Basically.
I can see that.
Yeah, for a lot of us men, our teacher is failure and heartbreak. Those are our two communicators, and I think this is why once we get our heart broken or we fail, we know something about it, and I think that we do have to reverse that. I do think that our mothers, this is where mamas come in, because a lot of men are raised by mamas, and we raise our sons to be the man you wish she had. But that man she wished she had, she never figured out what his requirements are, right? And so I think it's very important for mothers to communicate that this is what you expect, this is what you should look for, and then for fathers to communicate with the man. Don't focus on chasing. No, now I don't want to say the word on Humble Dance. I want to be respectful tonight. I do want to be respectful tonight. So I think that it's important that we teach our sons that your testosterone ain't for you to go diving some, right? I told a lot of guys are chasing girls and they're not chasing goals. And the way that wives work. So we talked about submission earlier. The reason why this is such a big issue is because we preach submission to men who've been raised to be floors. And the only way submission works is if we teach our men to be coverings. Women can only submit to men who are taught to cover. And coverings come with responsibility. They come with order. They come with structure. They come with a plan. They come with strength. They come with strength of character and foundation. And so we have to teach our men how to develop those things, like with work ethic and being a man of your word and being able to be self-disciplined, able to say no. When men get tempted, because if you're an athlete or, you got good looks, I mean, right, guys, I know I've been through it, you got profound looks or you communicate very well, right? So you get attention, and then what do you want to do? You want to use that testosterone. You want to bang the girls. Do not waste your time chasing girls who you're not going to remember 2 years from now. Right? Have that discipline. And then the other thing, I think Shade may have said it, financial literacy. Teach young men how to be financially literate early, work ethic early, so that the qualities that it takes to be a husband, he's now recovering, and now he's able to put a demand and expectation on what he wants from a wife, and he no longer sees her as a god, but he sees her as a helpmeet suitable to help him to fulfill his purpose.
And he's not learning that stuff on the fly. Like that's how I learned. Yes. I learned this shit on the fly. Yeah.
Trial and error. And sometimes those errors are costly, like
huge.
Creating baby mamas and baby daddies.
Yep.
That's a costly error. And to have to learn it through that path, it's not ideal for anyone. It's the long way around to get back to, and then some people never get there. They get stuck and they never have that maturation and that growth to overcome those setbacks.
Yeah. No NBA young boy for my son. No Cardi B for my son. Like they're not listening to none of this shit. Like I'm not allowing it at all.
Yeah.
Well, I know for me, the way I taught my son was, as far as with my daughter, I taught her I have to worry about a whole lot of eggplants. My son only had to worry about one eggplant, if you know what I mean. So I taught my son how to wear rubber. I got a banana, and I demonstrated how to put it on. Because I know you're going to have sex. You're a handsome, well put together young man. The apple don't fall far from the tree, but it is what it is. So I need to prevent you from making the decision of going in there naked head and getting caught up and being and making a baby mama and you becoming a baby daddy. I said, learn from my experience. at the age of 20, sophomore in college, I had your sister. It was a mistake. I shouldn't have did it. I made a bad decision by doing it, and I wasn't married to her, and it never materialized into anything special, but it happened. Don't make the same decision because it cost me financially, and once again, I go over the financial aspect. I said, so imagine you at the age he was at the time. He was, I think, 14 when we had this conversation. I showed him how to put the rub on and all that. Imagine you making so much money, doing what you want to do in their future career. And I forgot what he wanted to do when he told me that. We looked up the general cost of how much that career made. I said, imagine you making this much money. Your rent costs you that. Your car payment costs you this. But then guess what? A portion of your money is going to go towards child support to pay for that kid that you decided to have at your young age, and that you wasn't financially ready for, that you wasn't emotionally ready for. You're going to have to take a portion of that money. So now your lifestyle may change a little bit. You may not get that nice car. You may not live in that nice apartment in that nice neighborhood because you decided to lay down with this woman and get her pregnant. So now the consequences is you have to take care of your child. And it's not switch you may financially. You may not get the freedoms as you want. You went from all about you, now it's all about that child. So, and I put in the aspects of that, and he's thinking about it. Most kids are selfish anyway. They're like, oh no, I don't want to do it. So, that kind of sunk in with him. So he thought about it, and it made him worry. And he seemed like he got it. Now we'll see. Hopefully later on in life, he don't fall into this temptation, because this time next year he'll be on somebody's college campus getting ready for the basketball season in college. So we know how that goes. You're looked at, like we said, as a target, and God forbid you have somebody like a Brittany Renner, an older lady out there preying on you guys. They're out there, and that's a scary thing, but you that's not what you want to be. You want to find that right woman. The woman is right for you. I don't, and there was a time when I was anal about him finding a good black woman. I don't even preach that to him no more. I said, son, find whatever color woman you want. I don't care. As long as she loves you, she's going to respect you, and she's going to treat you right, I can get down with it. So if you get you a titty pink, I'm accept her as my daughter-in-law, and I'm going to move on. If you get you an Asian or Latin woman, I'm going to respect them, and I'm going to love them, and I'm going to move on. Doesn't matter what me or your mother may say, because at the end of the day, this is your life to live, and I just want you to be happy with whoever you with. So,
what a phenomenal take, bro! What a phenomenal take. Like to when I first heard you say, "Well, I taught him how to put on a robe," I'm like, "What?" But then I'm like, "Well, you want them to know if that situation arises, even though you don't want that situation to arise, right?" It's kind of like, I don't want to have to use my gun, but I definitely need to know how to use my gun. You feel me? And so man, that was dope, man. I really appreciate that perspective. Does anybody else have something to add before we get to our last question?
Yeah, real quick. One thing I've come to hate, which has for some reason became very popular in our society, yoga pants. Like, yeah. All right, so
Dwayne, I don't know about hate them, brother. I love them.
I know
It's a love hate thing.
No. And we kind of touched on this last week, right? So knowing that we are visual, right? You got some of these women out here wearing these outfits that accentuates every last curve that they have, right? So that makes it difficult for me raising boys, because we could be scrolling through the grocery store, and then you know what? All they see is, and I'm sitting there trying to put my blinders on, and meanwhile, so with that, as they get older, like I'm already having these conversations with them now. Like as for my younger ones, we're having a conversation about what the goal is, wife material, husband. Hey, one day you're gonna be a husband, one day you're gonna be a wife. So we already having these conversations with them. But in that pursuit, like the thing is that I ran across is, how does one master temptation? One doesn't master temptation without any. One masters it whenever it is present. So how do I teach my sons how to master temptation? That to me is going to be difficult, because one, I know me, right? So with that, I stumble. So teaching them and equipping them how not to stumble. And in the Garden of Eden, they had 99.99% of their stuff taken care of, all that they needed, but they still stumble. They still stumble. But I think just having that 0 point whatever percent, 1%, whatever percentage of temptation that they had the ability to master it. And with that, I think there's so much to gain from that. And I think that's what is deprived from our society, because everything is instant and everything is instant gratification. All these things are at hand. So I'll share this real quick. Whenever my daughter came and we had the conversation, my wife and I sat down and had the conversation with her about this whole boyfriend conversation. I asked her to put her hand up in front of her face, and I was in front of her. But I said, put your hand up right in front of your face. And she had a ring on her finger. And I said, look at that ring on your finger. It was on her pointer finger. I said, look at that. Can you see me? Am I in focus? She says, no. I said, now look at me. Keep that finger up. Now look at me. Can you see your finger? Yes, but it's not clear. Whenever something is right in front of you, you tend to focus on that. But I think we were also getting at, there are things that are in front of you in your future that are not clear. And if you don't focus on that, you have the ability to focus in on what's close, what's at hand now, and miss what you have in your future. So as for having these conversations with them, it's like, how do you abstain, right? How do you deprive yourself now for something greater in the future? And I think that's something that I didn't do, right? But then again, I did not have these conversations with my parents. So because of that, I desire to break a generational curse in that area, where I'm going to be engaged in my child's life. I'm going to speak to them, right? And yes, we talked about, falling, but it's like, what's the damage when you do fall? How long does it take for you to get up? How long does it take for you to recover? And I think whenever you have somebody there to coach you in what to do, what to watch out for, I think that limits the casualty or the fallout that one may occur. And as for with my boys, that's what I desire to teach them now, is how to put those blinders on, how to focus on your long-term goal, on where you're going and not where you're at now. Because where you're at now, you won't be there in a couple of years. You won't be there in a couple of days. Hopefully, like, it's a continual growing process. So with them, man, it's tough. This world is tough. When you have women like you, as for young boy, I don't remember last time I turned on an FM rap station, or I don't. Thank goodness, because whenever I hear songs like WAP, two women singing WAP, right? It took me a while to figure out what they were talking about. Just like me, a while to figure out that Mr. Hink wasn't talking about the fruit. I'm not the fruit, the vegetable, eggplant. It took me a while, but in that, I have to then stand firm and be here to then coach them to say, hey, that may sound good, that may look good right now, but that ain't for you. That ain't for you.
Y'all ever noticed that the eggplant in real life looks nothing like the emoji? Like, they did that shit on purpose. Like, they made that thing look like,
Yeah.
They throwing it around.
What you about to say, Shay?
I was just going to say two things. My son was laughing, Hank, when you said the eggplant. He was over here cracking up. I'm like, how do you know what the eggplant is?
That's
So
my point.
we'll talk about that after this podcast. No,
Yeah, we need to
but
understand more about this eggplant knowledge.
right. And so I just wanted to add to that some things that we do. We teach our son, going back to what Dwayne said, how to use his imagination, like in terms of when he started fifth grade. I told him, what do you see fifth grade looking like? What would you like for that to look like for you, just to help him to create vision for himself on how to look at things more long term. His father does a really great job of creating these life obstacle courses, and he's been doing this since he was a kid, just creating different kind of scenarios that encourage him on how to protect himself, how to be a provider, just the characteristics of what makes up a good husband. In addition to that, I think it's important to have the conversations about his current situation, right? Him and his dad have an amazing relationship. So the time that they spend together, right? He can see if you're in two different households. You just flew in from Chicago last night because you spent a week at your dad's, and now you're back in Dallas, right? So having those real conversations, like you enjoy that time with your father, you enjoy your time with your mother, you see how we have to work this out just to make it, feasible for you. And we tell him some kids don't even have the opportunity to see their father as much as you do, especially with him being in a different state. So I think it's really having those real conversations about where he currently is. And then his father also points out things on, he always says, well, you see, that's why I chose your mother as my wife at the time. So he points out those characteristics so that he will be able to see that. And then also it's up to me to emulate what it looks like to be a good woman, a good wife, so that hopefully he will be able to choose. And then that self gratification, teaching him how to be disciplined. I think if you have some form of discipline, and if you're taught how to be disciplined, it can save you a lot of headache as well.
To that point, I think that's real good. Mothers play a big part of this, and I think boys need to know that they're valuable as well. We tell girls that, girl, keep yourself, is valuable. It's saving for a king, and we just treat dudes like. So we have to intentionally create value in boys, and I've got to give my mother some credit on this. So I was a virgin until I was about 19. I hadn't yet experienced the magical city, but when I did, it was with my now wife, and we've been married for 15 years. And
Wow.
the reason why I was able to do this is because from an early age, since 17 years old, my mother always took me through the book of Proverbs, and she would say things like, "You're a king," or "Every woman doesn't deserve you," or "You can't, every woman can't have you. You can't have every woman sounding like this. You can't make every woman do this. You cannot make every woman sound like this." And so what she did is she created value within me, and it made me value myself. So now I'm picky, I'm selective, and I don't treat myself like I just got to get in everything that I see, because I'm a man of value. And I think that for young boys early on, we have to start infusing them that you are valuable. Your feelings are going to be there. You don't want to you gonna want to do the thing from the chandelier, right? But you are a man of value, and that every woman doesn't deserve you. And so protect yourself. And if you do, I think Hank's point was fantastic, that I would rather prepare you for something you won't do than to leave you unprepared if you do that. So I think that's where the balance comes in as well. But my big thing on this part, mothers play a pivotal role. Tell your son how valuable he is. Tell him, make him understand it, and make him understand that every woman does not deserve his attention. They don't deserve his power and his strength. They do not deserve his seed.
Can I say something real quick, home with that?
Go ahead, bro.
It's almost like how us as fathers see our, this ain't happening over here, but like if my daughter was wearing yoga pants, it's because her mother would sign off on it. And usually they would sign off on it because they have this woman conversation, this understanding that they have between themselves. And it would be for a father to come in there and show her how it's going to be viewed from a male's perspective, vice versa. What Sir Hill just said, it's really a mother's job to explain to him how to protect himself in these type of situations. So that I just want to draw that parallel.
That's good. Hey,
Sorry, my bad. My
you're
bad.
not sorry, bro. You're about to do it. I don't
Yeah, I'm
understand.
gonna try to steal second real quick.
Go ahead.
So I think that also then leads into a lot of men or boys getting lemons. What I mean by that is like all these women now they sprinkle all this glitter on themselves, including that yoga pants, right? But just like a new house, like you go in, they got the house all ready for the showing and all that jazz, right? The
You
outside
talking about putting makeup on a pig? Is that where you going?
well, I haven't gotten there yet.
You're
But
taking
yeah,
thunder.
but yes, it's like again, like you getting ready to buy a new house. Got nice paint, everything's good, the landscape is good. But then you buy the house, and then next thing you know, though, there's cracks in the wall, and stuff is just falling apart. And then you get a structural engineer to come out, and you find out this foundation is shot. Right, the new car, fresh paint job, the engine is busted. I think that's how these boys are being set up, and like what y'all are saying is that's with these women. It does take two. It takes two, and whenever you have a counsel from both the mother and the father, it gives the child the best opportunity to thrive because they won't end up with or it limits their opportunity or chance to end up with a lemon because they know what to look for whenever they're out there house hunting, car shopping, or whatever women hunt, or wife hunting or husband hunting whenever they're looking.
That's what's up. Go ahead, Sir Hill. I see you. Listen, I want y'all. Listen, I enjoy the conversation. I be trying to make sure y'all get out on time. Now mind y'all are the pastors in this situation. Okay, so proceed, Sir Hill.
Yeah, so I just want to say this, and I'm going to be doing a lot of talks on what I'm getting ready to say soon. For boys who didn't get it early, it's important for women to help teach men how to leave. A lot of men, once they make a mistake, they don't know how to repair. They don't know how to recover. They think it's over. I need more of our women to start teaching young men how to leave and how to recover. That once you make a mistake, you don't have to live there, and you don't have to carry shame and guilt. You can recover. You don't have to live that. It's an important thing. I want women to help teach men as well.
When you're doing that show, Sir Hill?
This week, I think on Thursday.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Bet. So check out Sir Hill on Thursdays. Say we're finna get to this last question of the evening, which is the topic at hand. And so the reason why I thought about this question was because for me, it's a big deal for dads to be operating in their kids' life, right? Because I've seen in my own self, not having a father in my life, the gaps that I have and have had, and because of interviewing dads is where my gaps actually closed, and that's like 2-3 years ago, right? So this particular question says, what percentage of the responsibility do men play in fatherless homes? What percentage of responsibility do men play in fatherless homes? And I want you to give an actual percentage from your perspective and explain why you would say so. All right. And so we're going to start with whoever deems that they have a response that they would like to provide.
Well, I'll say 100%. And the reason I'm saying 100% is because ultimately, I believe the responsibility falls on them. Now, there are situations where the woman chooses to leave. She cheats. Something happens where the situation is no longer palatable. But overall, I'm saying 100% because I want men to understand that you have to put yourself in a position of leadership and do what it takes to avoid fatherless homes, even if that means you create a home that your kids can come to, so that that's not the case. But I say 100% because I want men to be responsible, even if they're not 100% at fault for it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'll agree. I'll definitely agree on that. I say 100% as well, and I look at it from a biblical standpoint. Um, if Adam and Eve had a child or children before the fall, I think Adam would have been in the same situation. Um, he would have whatever the situation was, that he was far away from Eve to allow her to eat from the tree without him actually coming in and saying something. I think he gave up some a bit of dominion there, um, because then he didn't take responsibility initially, because then he blamed God, then he blamed the woman. He did not blame himself. So in that, I think men has 100% responsibility in that, because whatever the situation or whatever the circumstances, it's not about what others do. It's what about you, what you do.
I would I would agree. I would go 100%. I was until y'all said it, I was probably gonna go 50 because I'm looking at, you know, what I'm saying the dynamics of a man and a woman. But I will say my divorce taught me a great lesson. You know what I'm saying? I realized that though I feel that my ex-wife did whatever she did, I won't out her like that, but whatever she did, right? I had to understand that I can't hold her accountable. And a lot of guys want to do that, but you don't realize that you can't hold her accountable. Like only she can do that. And the reason I found that out was because when I wasn't seeing my daughter going through divorce court, going through custody court, I had to look in the mirror. And it's not comfortable. It doesn't feel great. You want to look at everybody and say it's their fault. But I had to look at what I didn't do. And I just go back to one small example. When she asked me to send the clothes over that I bought, and I was like, well, I'm already paying you money. You know what I'm saying? And she need clothes here. But when I look back at it now, I'm like, I could have sent her the damn clothes. So I'm looking at it from a perspective that I failed. And I don't care what nobody tells me. I don't care if somebody says, well, she could have did this, this. What I look at is my daughter able to be with me every day? No. Well, I failed because she's supposed to have that. So I do agree with you, fellas. It's 100% on you. If your child doesn't have a home to be lay her head at, that's on you.
Well, I know with me, I have a failed marriage myself. So, and like a quarterback, I have to take all the blame. I didn't win the game. The game of marriage, I didn't win. I lost. I got to take that. I got to take that L, man. And it's rough. It's embarrassing. And no man likes to fail.
Facts.
It's not sexy. It's not appealing. It's not something you want to brag about, because it's like winnings. They always tell you how much you won, but they don't ever tell you how much you lost in them bets. So and that's what it's like. No man wants to fail. So, but I did that. Now, did I learn from my failures? Yes. Was I hardened by my failures? Yes. To the point I had to go get therapy. It took me about a year and a half before I was open enough to even think about getting married again. So now I'm in a good place where I do want to get married again. I will get married again. And this time my marriage will be a success. I will not fail my next wife. I will not let us fail. And I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to make sure that we're going to be successful. Thanks to the hard life lessons that I had to learn in them 12 plus years. So, uh, fatherless home, yes, due to my failures, I created that. Now, fortunately for me, we still have a good co-parenting relationship where we can do that. You know, I get my son every day. I pick him up from after practice every day. He hangs out with me, until his mother gets off and she's done doing what she does. So I get at least 3+ hours before he has to leave or he goes home every day. So that's a blessing, but at the same time, it's still not the same. Even though I get my weekends, I get my holidays, we worked through that. Even though it's not the same, because I used to, before I go to school, I said I used to wake them up every morning. I don't get that opportunity to wake them up every school morning.
And that hurt. No cap.
Three mornings a week I get to wake him up, but I like them 5 mornings a week that I used to have. So it was due to my failure of the marriage that I created this scenario. But I got past it. I moved on, and my son's in a good place. So, and like I said, me and his mother's in a good place. So we're able to move from there. But yes, 100% is on us. So we got to take that L and just keep it moving.
That's phenomenal, ladies. Either one, it's on you.
I don't feel like I need to speak on it. I'm just gonna be honest. I think the gentleman presented it away. I think sometimes we as women feel like we need to, interject our thoughts. I don't feel the need to interject with here. I think that is I think that the way the gentleman spoke about their perspectives and the accountability and the taking ownership, because that's all you can do in that situation. It's 100% both parties' fault. If we're gonna if I am gonna give any opinion on it, it's 100% both parties' fault. Whether it was in the selection, whether it was in the just deterioration of the situation overall, we can only control ourselves. Ever in any circumstance dealing with another person. And so to that extent, I just applaud every gentleman on this panel today, just, being transparent and giving that perspective on fatherless homes, because we can get very easily into a debate about what like CJ was saying, it regardless of where the fault lied in incremental situations within the relationship dynamic. If you failed marriage or you failed the relationship, then you own that you're part of the failure, and that percentage really is 100% on you because of what you can control.
Well, thank you for not having a lot to say. I really appreciate that. Shay, did you want to add at all, or did you want to do what Nee did?
I plan to do exactly what Nee did.
Okay.
Because those are my thoughts. That's why I was quiet, because I appreciated, all of the gentlemen here taking that ownership and saying 100%, because it could be a debate, right? So that is commendable and to be respected as well. So that's to be commended and respected. So I don't have much of anything to say. I really don't, because when
I'm laughing at the back chat, Shay. I'm laughing at the back chat.
That's her hell of food, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, listen. I appreciate your time. We went a little bit over. Blame yourselves. Take accountability and responsibility for that. Okay.
Can I say one thing, AC?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
absolutely.
But you know what? That just made me realize that men have so much weight on their shoulders. So as every man was talking, I was like, oh my gosh, like we have to do something, So that's how I was feeling, like wanting to nurture that, right? And give a hug. That's exactly how I was.
Y'all don't know how much that means, bro.
Man, that's a fact. Listen, and that's why men have to be men, so we can get women who see and want to lighten their load. That's a magical moment. Magical moment.
And that's why I wanted women on the panel.
Thank you.
To give literally, because I want to talk about fathers, but I wanted the perspective of men and women to do that. And so I really appreciate y'all time. I'm always open to ideas and things of that nature, as far as how the show should go. But like for you all to, what I value is when you all give a actual situation of yourselves and you provide context, without revealing too much, but actually letting people know a little bit about who you are and why you came to this perspective. And so, because that's where people learn instead of always speaking in generalities, right? You want to be able to communicate to someone and have them understand your perspective and why you speak in the way that you do. So I've said what I said. I didn't even have to talk much. And that's really hard for me if you've ever had a conversation with me. All right. So salute to you all. And I'm gonna be asking people to come back. You can just say no, I'm cool with that. But it is what it is. And don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to check out Sir Hale Speaks. He got the basement coming. Nee is antisocial. Dwayne is antisocial, but he got the photographs coming. Right, got to work on the kinks and the bugs over there in his website. And then Shay, she's over there with the tax preparation, but she's not hiring right now. Okay, because she already fully staffed and making and doing what it do. And then we got CJ, got the piano in the back. I don't know if he used it or if it's just a prop, but can you have a channel too, CJ? What can they find you?
Oh man, the 5100 podcast, man. Me and my 5100 pod. You know, we from Memphis, man. We talk how we talk, baby. But shout out to my guy Tez the Fight. That's my co-host. And our whole goal, it get a little wild sometimes, but our whole goal really is to do our part to end the battle of the sexes and have black families back together for real, for real.
So that's what's up. I gotta
Nice.
work that out for sure. Well, thank y'all for your time. Until next time, we out here. Deuces.
Y'all be easy, man.
Bet.
All right now.
What a phenomenal show. Like, I didn't know where it was gonna I knew where it was gonna start, but I didn't know how it was gonna end. I really thought there was gonna be a debate as it relates to the last question. Because there has been such a debate on other channels and platforms and whatnot. For guys to take accountability of creating these fatherless homes is very important, right? Because if you realize the responsibility that you have as it relates to any community, then there is and lies the behavior should be changing. And if you're around dudes that are creating fatherless homes, you're around the wrong dude, and you need to speak up about it. Ladies, you also are a part, as Nee said, of the situation. So make sure you choose wisely, vet as best as you can, seek counsel. Until next time, hey, don't forget to go over there and shop at humbledad.life, see what we got going on there. And to all those that watching, I appreciate you. We almost at 500 subscribers. So if you know somebody that ain't subscribed, go let them know. Until next time, deuces.